All right, our first example, we've got this lovely proof to take a look at. Start with your given information. We're given that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. So in our figure, we will go ahead and mark that congruency. Here is angle 1 congruent to angle 2. So those two angles have the same measure. Now, where we can go from that is we can say that, well, we're going to go ahead and label in, I don't know if you guys have these labels. This is angle 3, and this is angle 4. So that may or may not be written in your notes. Go ahead and write that in if not. Because we've got this straight line right here, and this angle coming off of it, we know that angle 1 and angle 3 are going to be supplementary angles. So that's going to be our first statement. Angle 1 is supplementary to angle 3. And that is just something that we can assume. That's an assumed thing. If you got a straight line, then these two angles are supplementary. Going off of that same logic, we can say the same thing over here. Angle 2 will be supplementary to angle 4. So angle 2 is supplementary to angle 4. And again, that is assumed. Straight line with this angle, you can assume that those two are supplementary. So tell me if this makes sense. If angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent, and they're both supplementary to these inside angles, can we then go ahead and deduce that angle 3 will be congruent to angle 4? And yes, that is something that we can say. Angle 3 is congruent to angle 4. And that comes from your supplementary angle theorem. Alright, so what we have now are these inside base angles congruent to each other. So what we just learned in the intro video is their opposite sides, this is your base angle theorem, are congruent to each other. So we can go ahead and state, which is actually what we're trying to prove up here, that AB is congruent to AC. So we can mark that congruency. And how did we know? So it's off of the base angle theorem, but remember, if you're starting with angles, then it's actually the converse of it. The base angle theorem starts out with congruent sides, giving you congruent base angles. If you have congruent base angles, then that means you have congruent sides. So our reason will be that we have to bring in the word converse of the base angle theorem.